For we do not presume to count ourselves or compare ourselves with those who commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves, thinking that they're right in their own eyes, and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. That's all truth. But we shall not boast beyond measure, but within the measure of the limits Elohim assigned unto us, to reach even to you. For we are not overextending ourselves. People say, mind your own business, work out your own salvation. I am. I'm not working out your salvation. I'm tearing down strongholds the best I can because I've been commanded to do so. I'm exposing wickedness in dark places the best I can because I've been told to do so. Shalom, shalom, Yashral. I pray all is well. I just saw a comment on that post of mine on Facebook that laid the entire truth of all that out. But they didn't offer any help to those who are stuck in that. And this is what I'm going to say. I understand they who are completely blind and cannot get past what they see at the surface. They cannot talk about heavenly matters because they only see from and through the flesh. They are blind, operating in a strong delusion, and that is because that is no one's fault except their own, because they have chose to deny truth and operate in falsehood. And like I said in the comment, every time I have witnessed people making that choice with my own eyes, I've also got to see that they made that choice from the lust of money, social status, reputation, what people would think about them. They didn't want to be seen as crazy. It was from fear of what the world would think or what they would lose of the world. And so, I mean, they're totally getting what they deserve according to the word of the Most High. But I just can't pretend that I don't see them walking blindly towards a ditch. I would feel like a monumental, worthless, no good, dirty, son of a cockroach scumbag if I don't say something. And I understand that I am to drop seeds, and it's the Most High's business how, whose eyes he opens, right? But I don't think he's gonna have a problem with me loving my neighbor as myself. I would want, if someone sees me going off the ditch, I would hope that someone would do all they could, regardless if I was gonna kill them for telling me to not walk towards the ditch. I don't care. Please do all you can to shake me. And like I said, I'm not gonna keep beating this drum because I think that I'm going to be I'm going to have anything to do with waking people up. I understand this whole process, but I can't just sit back and not do nothing. Reading some of those comments and just thinking about this whole deal, I come to my Bible app and I typed in the search bar, died for our sins. Let's see what it shows. Oh, hold on. Died for our sins. Now, I mentioned in another video that I'm not looking for the answer from the mouth of Peter or Paul or any man. I want it from Abba or the Messiah. And that's it. And I understand that the people who say that the words coming from Peter and Paul and those guys are the words of the Most High, I understand they think that. And they would want to just destroy me with a blowtorch if they heard what I just said, that I'm not going to their word, because they're man. The Most High told us not to put our trust in man. And they'll say that because I said that, I think that it's wrong or false what they have said. I do not. I've said it time and time again. I haven't found anything wrong with what they've said. But I'm still not going to them for their answer. They don't have it. So, died for our sins. I'm not looking in 1 Corinthians. Let's see what Isaiah says. For our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us, for our transgressions are what? Okay. Let's look and see if we can find something from the Messiah. Luke, and forgive us our sins. No, that's when the Messiah told them how to pray. I see things like in the comments like he had to pay a ransom, you know. There's one thing that I will not go along with, and I don't care what anyone says, thinking or caring what's going to happen to me or what's going to be said about me. I'm long over that. I'm not going along with Abba sending his firstborn down here to be slaughtered so us stiff-necked, disrespectful assholes can live. I'm just not. I don't believe that that's what it is. I have a more rational explanation. The Messiah said things like, he told them he must die. He said, I'm going into Jerusalem and where I'll be impaled. What better gift than there is than for one to lay down his life for his friends, right? I'm going to say this, and I have the utmost confidence that I can boldly say that if we were living in a time where we would be killed for things we say, like if I was living in his day, I guarantee you that I would have a really good chance at being done the same way he was done for saying what I say. Because the things that happened to him early in his ministry, like the slander and the mocking and the attempt to get him to shut up, is the same thing that happens to me. People, the other day someone said, you know, they have AA for alcoholics like yourself, right? Because I can tell by listening to your video that you're drunk off your ass. We need to pray for you, you no good alcoholic. They called the Messiah a wine bibber and said he was drunk. They'd say he was a dope addict in today's time. They said he was demonically possessed, committed blasphemy, all kinds of things. And that's good. You know why that's good? It's sad because it means that those people are going to be destroyed right after they get done gnawing and gnashing their teeth. That's sad, yeah. So that's not good. But it's good to know that I'm doing what I need to do. Because if the world, who is nothing but a murderous lie, the whole thing, there's so much evil, filthy wickedness that it just renews my disgust for it every hour. I don't want to be on its side where it's telling me, way to go, Dottie. No, the fact that it has a problem with me and it's trying desperately to shut me down, and if it could kill me, it would, lets me know that I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. Am I good? No. But I'm at least trying the best I can to do what the Messiah told us to do. He said to judge righteously, and that we would know them by their fruit, and to expose wickedness. The ransom, like I said, I'm not going along with the idea that Abba sent his firstborn down here and killed him for our sakes. The perfect, the only one who walks with perfect humility, giving every little nano particulate of credit or praise or esteem to the only one deserving, and that's his Father and mine. The only one who has did that perfectly. He's not going to send him down here to be brutally murdered for a bunch of people who don't even do none of what should be done. But what he did is exactly what he said, what you can see he did through his what's documented about his life. He spoke truth. He made what in the word of the Most High was hard for just a bunch of meatheads to understand. He made it understandable, so people like myself, who are redneck dumbasses by nature, we can understand those things. And now that he made it understandable, we have a chance to live, because Messiah did have enough compassion on us to do like I'm saying. I have to say something. I cannot just watch them walk off the cliff. Even though I don't have any expectation to make an effect or to have any effect on what they do, I have every expectation that they'll hate me all the more. I'll get slandered and mocked, and I might get physically assaulted, and death could very well, if not more than likely, happen to me because of the fact that I'm going to step up and say something. And not setting anyone out or pointing at anyone particularly, but when I see so many just boldly walking past and not giving a rat's ass that all these people are wandering around blindly and they don't say anything. The only thing they offer is more mockery of those people. When I see that it disgusts me just as bad. And they're just as blind as those who think that we're supposed to act like we're being bathed in the blood of the Messiah, like some kind of satanic ritual or something, when that is not what we're to think about. They're just like those Yahudim who come to Messiah and said, we're hungry, after he fed them all those loaves. They said, hey, you got any more of that bread? Can you wave your finger or whatever and make us some more bread? And he was already upset that no one was understanding nothing he said. And he said, you come not seeking me and the miracles and stuff. You just want more bread because you ate those loaves and were satisfied. He said, but I tell you, I'm the bread of life, and anyone who eats of this bread shall never hunger. And they were like, yeah, let us have some of that. Can we get some of that? And he said, you can't understand. You'll never understand these words. And you know why it's so sad and disgusting? It's not because they're not smart enough to understand it. I see a lot of people with doctrines and master degrees and stuff that don't see it. Almost every time that I can think of, when I see someone make that choice to deny the truth, it's not because they can't see it or they're unable to. They choose to do it willingly because they know what acknowledging the truth will mean. They know that they will be mocked, that they might lose their job or their spouse, or they'll get laughed at, or they think as soon as they see or they're faced with the choice of pointing out lies, they instantly get afraid of what the world is gonna do to them. That's what's so sad and disgusting, that they choose to go on walking wickedly because they're afraid of what the wicked will think of them. And if you think that I'm in any way concerned with what evil, horrible things that will be said about me from what I'm doing, if you think I'm concerned about that in the slightest, you're dead wrong. I actually just recently have come to the new understanding that I need to welcome those assaults and attacks. They're reminders that I'm not on the side of perverted wickedness. And like I said, if I was living in his time, I would know I was about to die too. So the ransom thing, what he meant by him being a ransom for us was that he knew that if he were to come down here and tell the truth and explain it in a way that some of us would have, that it would make a way for some of us to escape and find the truth. He knew that meant he would die if he did that. So that was a ransom. Who did he pay the ransom to? Are you going to tell me that Abba said, the only way you can save them sorry sons of bitches is if you let me murder you brutally? Then I'll save them. I don't believe it. I don't believe that he had to pay Satan or some system with his life in order to let these know. It's just like the bus and the bus stop analogy. He had to show them which way the bus stop was. And he knew that if he did that, he would get killed. So he laid his life down as a ransom for man, so they could find their way to the bus stop. It had to be done. And for that, I am forever grateful and thankful. You can see there's nowhere in here where Abba or Messiah said that he died for our sins. Not even in the KJV. Nowhere. You might find it in the words of men like Peter and Paul and them. That means nothing. That means nothing. That right there is another example of why Messiah had to come here. Because there was way more dependence and trust in what men said than what the Father, who is the only source of truth. They put way more trust in men who couldn't even understand parables than they did the Most High. Now let's go back to that search of everlasting life, and let's see. You can see Messiah said, so that whoever is believing in him, meaning the Son of Adam, should not perish but possess everlasting life. So let's think about this using common sense, which is what we have to do. This is not asking us to bet our lives on a magical imagination. You don't get to have everlasting life because you say, yeah, I believe that the Messiah existed. No. Those men wanting more bread, they were telling people, this is the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, the Anointed One. Look, they saw him heal blind people, and they saw him make all those loaves of bread and feed 5,000 people. But they still didn't believe. Because if they did, if Peter really believed, even though he tried to convince the Messiah that he did and would go anywhere with him, if Peter really believed, he would have never denied him, because he would have known that if he denied him, he wouldn't be going to everlasting life. That's how you are granted everlasting life. You have to walk to it. And if you don't believe it's there, you won't go. If you don't believe it's there, you won't guard the commands. You might be like a lot of people and argue daylight till dark to tell people to keep the commands. But yet you will show no love for your brother. So you really don't believe it. You just use it like the Pharisees did to swing it around and smack people with. If you believed, it wouldn't be you against me and me against you. It would be, let's come together. It wouldn't be 1 month you're saying you love me and calling me brother, and then I say something that offends you, which is very highly possible, no doubt. You disappear, and then I see you writing posts that are clearly about me and saying things about me that you're pissed about, but you never did come to me and tell me directly. And I never hear from you ever again. So I know that all those times you told me you loved me, you were lying. Because soon as I did something that you didn't like, you left me high and dry. Not only that, you went and talked a bunch of shit behind my back, and you think that I'm a no-good lowlife who you wouldn't spit on if I was on fire now. And you got no time for me because you don't agree with something I said or did. If you loved me, when you seen me doing something that you didn't agree with, you would have talked to me about it. And if it was something that wasn't going to kill you or me, that wasn't a sin, but you just wasn't something that you are okay with, but it wasn't something that was detrimental, you would be understanding to say, well, that's just what he does. That buddy of mine who I've been a brother to for so many years, who has done nothing but take a crap on me every chance he can, he likes to pace. He had AD, whatever, HD or whatever, when he was a kid, and his parents give him Ritalin. And he'll get talking, and he'll pace back and forth for hours. And I can see how it would be annoying. Well, I've had quite a few people who he has shit on me to kiss their ass tell me when he steps out for a few minutes how they'd like to just kill him or whatever, how they hate it that he does that. And I've told so many of them the same thing. I've said, that's just what he does, you know? You better get used to it. Do I like it? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It is kind of annoying, but that's who he is. And I love him. I'm not going to try to change him. When I don't want to deal with it no more, I go home and go to sleep. But if he wants to pace, hey, let him pace. It's not bothering me. There was a lot of stuff I would have liked to say. I wanted to say things like, how dare you talk shit about him doing that when he went to the bathroom, but then 5 minutes later when he's back, you'll tell him, oh, I love you, honey, when I'm watching you, when I know damn well there's no way you could love him if you'll talk about him behind his back. If you loved him, you would have been defending him being unique and doing odd, having odd habits like that. You wouldn't have been trying to mock and ruthlessly scorn those habits. The Messiah paid ransom for those people who had no hope of finding life because truth wasn't made clear enough for them yet. He came down here because love demands your effort. You don't have to try to help these people or anyone. But the truth that goes along with that is that you don't love them. And you can say you do all you want. But every time you do, you're chalking up another lie on the old belt. I love y'all. I'll be back. Rat-a-tat-tat. I'm out.